Well, what is there not to love about a sapphire? This blue sapphire is a beautiful size for starters. It's 2 carats, or just over 2 carats, and it is a terrific size, I think, for setting. It's just perfect. What my pictures aren't showing you, oh, by the way, speaking of size, it's over 7 mil, so 7.3 thereabouts, with a depth of 5. Beautiful, beautiful size. Now, my photos, as usual, are a bit remiss because what they're not actually capturing is the immense sparkle. I give this one a 10 out of 10 for sparkle, which really counts for a lot as far as I'm concerned with a stone, particularly one that we know that you're going to really want to put into a ring or a pendant or whatever. So another beautiful attribute to this sapphire, which I find incredibly special, is that it has what I call a brindle effect or an ametrine effect. It has a variation of tones, and it goes from the very palest of blue, almost white in just a tiny enough piece to count, to a paler blue, and then to a graduate of other blues as well. Now, what this does is, by and large, the gem itself has, of course, a nuance of tones, which, for one thing, I find fascinating, but it also brings up a beautiful light within. And the only objection I've had to blue sapphires in the past, unless, I've had one which has been incredibly small, because small equals light, is that they can tend to be on the dark side. They don't capture enough light in proportion to the colour that they have. Now, that doesn't have to be the case, of course, and especially, if you go into yellows and pinks and things like that. But the blues can be either muddy, they can be dark. The Australian ones, of course, they do tend to be greyish and darkish and muddy and all the rest. This one is not. This is a beautiful Ceylon blue for starters. So it has that electric, fresh quality to it. It has that really pretty tone. But as you know, the Australian ones, and others, of course, where you get even sort of shades of green passing through, those seem to have a darkness, and also when they have a lot of colour, or if they have diffusion, which this does not. This is natural. So this stone has been heated, which is very usual. It's been clarified in that way, and I like it. I think that it works. If you have a tiny bit of rutile silk and you want to just clean that up a little bit and show the stone for what it is, the sparkle on this is very valuable. So I think that makes perfect sense. But it is not colour enhanced. And when you have gems, in my experience, that have a real tone, a real pitch of colour, it makes an incredible difference. It's very pleasing to the eye. Now, not to everybody. I have to qualify that because it is interesting. We all see colour differently, and some people are very, very lucky, like myself, to have a very good pitch of colour perception. I can do that. I think I can discern far more colours than the average eye can, and it is interesting. I come from a family, both parents of being artists, and I often wonder if that's the case. Artists do tend to not only be able to see, a bit more than most people can see as far as the colour and the tone in that aspect. They appreciate it more, and but also they live by it. What I mean by that, I'm beginning to sound snooty, and I don't mean to be at all. The funny thing is, I'm not a great one for detail. I'm more one for colour. And I think you'll see that reflected in my words, in my business, in who I am, in my house. It's more about colour than it is about detail. So that's not always a good thing, that definitely in life. It's a funny thing, because when I look around the world, I see colours, I see a wealth of colours, and I enjoy that. When I look into gems, I do the same thing. I'm not necessarily looking for the detail. So that's just a funny off the side thing. But having said that too, I do think colours resonate with us, and particularly for those who pick up on them in general. And another observation I've made over the years, by the way, is that if you love gems, if you're drawn to them, I think chances are then you're probably very much like me, and you actually do have that talent for perceiving colours in a far more, I won't say accurate way, but in a more detailed way, in a more nourished way, and also with more graduations of tone than most people. And one testimony to that is, you know, you'll see synthetic stones all the time in jewelry shops here in Australia, and it's really interesting because people can't tell the difference 9 times out of 10. They just can't. They'll see a synthetic ruby or an emerald, and to them it looks like the real thing. So I think if you're drawn to gems in the first place, you probably have a good power of differentiating. And just to finish up on this one though, to tell you, I think it's a fabulous, fabulous stone. You won't be disappointed. The sparkle is immense and the effect is beautiful and the clarity is great. You know, it's a very, very clean stone. Losing my voice here, but it's a bit early in the morning. Thank you so much for looking again, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.